It was the strangest joint session address by a president. Vaccinated, mask-wearing, double mask-wearing members of Congress in a mostly empty chamber. And oftentimes the proposals and the rhetoric seem to match. The president laid out his vision for major shifts in the U.S. economy and how Washington would play a new role in virtually every aspect of American life. Has a big price tag, too. $6 trillion, and even big tax hikes won't pay for it. Let's talk about the plan and how the president performed and whether Republicans have a strategy here other than just kind of fighting amongst themselves with Newsmax contributor and Democrat strategist Doug Schoen and senior advisor and spokesperson for the Heritage Foundation, Genevieve Wood. Always a pleasure to see both of you. Doug, an hour and 6 minutes. What did he need to accomplish in this speech, and do you think that he did it?
Well, I think for the Democratic base, Tom, he did accomplish the goal of speaking to transformation of the American economy and our social agenda. I don't think he promoted bipartisanship, and I don't think he promoted an agenda that's going to get passed. I would have preferred a smaller, more bipartisan plan, but hopefully we'll get that down the road.
You know, he kind of checked the boxes, Genevieve, like Doug said, for the left primarily. I'm not sure how independents are going to view all of the spending and potentially these tax hikes. What stuck out in your mind about the speech?
Well, the fact that, I mean, if all this went through, Tom, this would be the second largest expansion of the welfare state in United States history. I mean, I just don't think people, if they didn't come away understanding, this was not about growing the economy. This was about growing government. Every single thing he mentioned was a crisis of proportions that requires large government answers in every area: healthcare, education, the economy, jobs, the vaccine, taxes. I mean, you name the issue, more big government, more tax dollars were the answer. And it was that, I mean, it was pretty amazing in that sense. That's what I took away from it.
No, it was definitely big and bold if you agreed with that type of transformational agenda. Doug, the president used the address to hit on a lot of topics, but introduced his so-called American Families Plan. Genevieve referenced this. It's another $2 trillion in spending, but the promise of a lot of free stuff, as I was talking about just a few minutes ago. Is this all too much too quickly, or do you think that this is the right strategy for the far left to just keep trying to ram through as much as they can?
Well, it clearly is their strategy, Tom, which is to move quickly and get as much done as quickly as they can and try to transform society before anyone is quite aware, and hope that the good news of 6.5% growth and relatively low percentage unemployment continues. Mm-hmm. I would prefer that they took the infrastructure bill and broke out roads and highways. They took things like free community college, pre-K, and broke them out into bite-sized bills and tried to do bipartisanship. I think you were right before, Tom, that the Republicans need a counter agenda. It's not just enough to oppose the Democrat big spending plans. What is the Republican alternative? I'd like to hear, and I'd like to find something we can find common ground on.
Genevieve, as I said in my monologue, a lot of this family plan stuff is going to sound good to a lot of people. The GOP put out a response to the Biden infrastructure plan, which was a really good idea. It was a good plan, doesn't raise taxes, gets good things done. But we really haven't heard a strategy to rebut this. And as I said, I can see a lot of people saying, hey, universal pre-K doesn't sound like a bad idea. What would you like to see the Republican conservative response to be here?
Well, Tom, I'd love to see them pick up what you said in your earlier monologue and run with that, because you're right. There should be a strong rebuttal. We have to point out the facts that nothing is free. At the end of the day, it actually costs everybody, not just those that Joe Biden said it was going to cost. It will cost everyone. And the fact is, a lot of things that they laid out, it's just putting more people connected to the government. It's expanding the welfare state. It's saying this is the kind of health care that you can have. It's expanding education spending, but not expanding education choice. choice. People need to understand this will tether them more tightly to the government, not give them more freedom for their day-to-day lives. I think that has to be clear. And I think you're absolutely right. Republicans can't just give that answer. They didn't say, so here's what we should do. And they need to be clear about it on every single front. I think Tim Scott gave a great follow-up speech, but you got to have specifics on these individual plans, whether it's healthcare, education, and the like, and really truly lay out a plan, whether it's Contract with America Part 2 or something along those lines.
All right, we'll see what materializes out of that. Doug Schoen and Genevieve Wood, always appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tom.
Thanks for watching the Heritage Foundation's YouTube channel. With more than 500,000 members, we are the nation's largest conservative research and education institution. We believe the principles and ideas of the American founding are worth conserving and renewing. Please help us further our mission by subscribing to this channel and sharing our videos with your family and friends.